Your mind is under constant siege, notifications, looming deadlines, and endless to-do lists pull your attention in a dozen different directions, fragmenting your focus and draining your energy. But what if an ancient key existed to quiet this internal chaos? A method to sharpen your mind with laser-like precision and unlock your ability to achieve what truly matters to you. In this video, we will explore how to apply the Lotus Method, a powerful approach rooted in the timeless wisdom of Eastern philosophy, to transform your scattered energy into a profound, unshakable state of concentration. Missing this is to risk remaining forever trapped in the cycle of distraction. Watch until the end, and you can begin changing your life starting right now. Part 1. The inner battle against resistance. Meet Han, an individual brimming with potential, much like yourself. Yet every time he attempts to embark on a meaningful task, a project, a goal, a change, an invisible force seems to hold him back. The issue isn't a lack of motivation. Han consumes motivational content voraciously. He watches inspiring videos, listens to podcasts on peak performance, and devours books on self-development. However, when the moment arrives to translate intention into action, his own mind becomes his greatest saboteur. It instinctively recoils, diverting his efforts toward easier, more comfortable distractions, most often the endless scroll of social media. Each time Han plans something important, his consciousness actively seeks a simpler alternative. He is trapped in a vicious cycle of procrastination and mounting self-doubt. He is acutely aware of the pattern but feels powerless to break it. Crucially, Han's struggle is not unique. It is the default state of the modern human mind, which is wired to avoid discomfort and seek the path of least resistance. We willingly distract ourselves with digital entertainment, games, or idle daydreams to escape tasks that feel difficult or unfamiliar. Han is, in essence, at war with himself. Temporary motivational boosts provide no lasting solution. He begins to understand that he requires something far more foundational than short-lived enthusiasm. In Eastern philosophy, this restless mind is often compared to a monkey mind, swinging wildly from branch to branch, from one thought to the next, relentlessly avoiding anything unpleasant. As the Buddha profoundly stated, your worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your own unguarded thoughts. This is Han's exact predicament. His own untamed mind is pulling him away from his deepest desires, opting for fleeting comfort in the immediate present. Ancient monastic traditions understood this universal human dilemma intimately and developed sophisticated practices to tame the mind, cultivating clarity and serene focus. Han's problem is not a personal failing. It is the natural tendency of the intellect to resist difficulty in favor of safety and routine. The Eastern teachings that underpin the Lotus Method propose that a head-on battle with the mind is counterproductive. Instead, they offer a more elegant solution: mindful awareness. The shift begins when Han realizes his brain is biologically and psychologically programmed to avoid complexity. With this insight, he stops the cycle of self-criticism. This is the inaugural lesson of the Lotus Method. Before you can change your behavior, you must neutrally observe the mechanism of your mind without judgment. By simply witnessing his impulses, Han creates a space between stimulus and response. This awareness is the critical first step that unlocks the next, learning to release resistance and flow with your thoughts, rather than exhausting yourself by fighting against them. Part 2. The Principle of Harmonious Acceptance. Han realizes that his previous strategy, using sheer willpower to force himself to work, has consistently failed to yield results. He begins searching for a deeper, more nuanced wisdom and discovers the teachings of Lao Tzu, the foundational philosopher of Taoism. Lao Tzu introduced the concept of Wu Wei, often translated as non-doing or effortless action. It is the art of aligning oneself with the natural flow of life, working with its current, rather than exhausting oneself by swimming against it. One of Lao Tzu's insights strikes Han with particular force: let go, and it will be done. Initially, it sounds paradoxical. How can relinquishing control lead to accomplishment? But Han has a revelation. Perhaps he is stuck precisely because he has been pushing too hard, creating internal friction by battling his own nature. The Lotus Method, inspired by this philosophy, posits that the solution is not to apply more pressure, but to intelligently release the pressure that already exists. This seems to contradict the modern cult of hustle, which preaches that more effort is always the answer. However, Lao Tzu suggests that by understanding the natural flow of events and integrating our actions within that flow, we can accomplish far more with less strain and struggle. This is not passive resignation or neglect. It is a strategic shift in perspective. It means ceasing to view challenging tasks as adversaries to be conquered. When we push against a river's current, we exhaust ourselves while making little progress. But when we turn and align with the current, it carries us forward with grace and power. Han starts to apply this principle. Instead of mentally wrestling with a difficult task and forcing himself to start, he first pauses and accepts its presence as a natural part of his day. See flow. To his astonishment, the task begins to shed its intimidating weight. This is the second step of the Lotus Method, the practice of releasing resistance to find harmonious and effective action. Part 3. Cultivating the power of stillness. In his continued quest for calm, Han turns to Zen Buddhism and the disciplined practice of Zazen, or seated meditation. Outwardly, it appears deceptively simple. Just sit in silence. But when he tries, he is confronted by the sheer turbulence of his own mind, which rebels against the inactivity, screaming at him to do something more productive. A Zen master once offered him a pivotal insight. If you cannot find the truth right where you are, where else do you expect to find it? Gradually, through consistent practice, Han makes a profound discovery. True clarity and strength are not born in frantic activity, but in purposeful stillness. Practicing Zazen, he observes his mind is like a lake churned by wind. Only when the wind dies down can the sediment settle, revealing clear, deep water. In these newfound moments of mental quiet, his problems undergo a transformation. They are no longer insurmountable obstacles, but become opportunities for growth and learning. He sees that his former habit of constant rushing prevented him from perceiving the true nature of his challenges. This leads to the third step of the Lotus Method, the deliberate cultivation of inner stillness. The metaphor of the lotus is essential here. The flower's roots grow deep into the muddy, murky water, drawing nourishment from the very substance that seems inharmonious. For Han, the mud of his life, his deadlines, distractions, and difficulties becomes the fertile ground for his development. By daily dedicating time to quiet reflection, he learns to approach his goals not with anxiety, but with a calm and collected mind. Part 4. The unity of mindful action. Immersed in his practice of stillness, Han notices tangible changes. His mind is less chaotic, his intentions clearer. However, he recalls the wisdom of the Shaolin monks, for whom meditation and action are inseparable. For them, true harmony is born from the marriage of mental clarity and physical movement. A calm mind allows the body to act with precision, efficiency, and grace. An agitated mind leads to clumsy, inefficient, and scattered action. Han understands that while meditation provides the clarity of a calm lake, it is action that creates the ripples of progress. Without action, clarity remains a potential. Like a Shaolin monk who carries the focus from meditation into every punch, block, and step, Han begins to infuse his daily activities with his newfound presence. He tackles tasks sequentially, devoting his full energy and attention to one thing at a time. He discovers that what was once a burdensome chore now feels more manageable, even flowing. This is the fourth step of the Lotus Method, mindful action. Han realizes that success is not defined by multitasking, but by the quality of attention brought to each individual task. Complex projects no longer trigger anxiety. He now approaches them with a sense of calm and methodical purpose. Part 5. The blossoming of patience. Despite his progress, Han notices that results do not manifest as quickly as his ego would like. Old impulses of impatience and frustration begin to surface, and he worries he is still doing something wrong. It is here that he fully embraces the final symbol of his journey, the lotus flower itself. The lotus grows slowly from the bottom of a murky pond, steadily rising through the dark water until it finally breaks the surface to bloom, pristine and beautiful, untouched by the mud from which it came. In Eastern traditions, the lotus is a supreme symbol of patience, purity, and enlightened potential emerging from hardship. Han realizes that his own growth requires this same organic, patient unfolding. Forcing a lotus flower to bloom faster would only destroy it. Likewise, impatiently rushing his progress would only recreate the internal resistance he worked so hard to dissolve. By embracing the natural, unhurried tempo of his own development, taking slow, deliberate, and consistent steps, he releases his final layer of anxiety. He finds a deep and abiding calm, a trust in the process itself. This is the final master lesson of the Lotus Method, the art of patience. He has attained a tranquility that was previously unimaginable. A question for you. Where are you currently on this path? The journey begins with a single small step. Whether it is 5 minutes of practice silence, a single hour of intentional focus on one task, or simply cultivating patience with your own pace of growth, remember, the lotus blossoms in its own time. Your growth is inevitable if you nurture it. If this exploration of mastering your mind resonated with you, subscribe to the channel. Let's continue this journey toward focus and mastery together.